Today we're going to look at a coaching session with Easiest Swing and Alex, who works at Golf Swing Systems here. Alex is a +1 golfer.
Oh, that is absolutely smacked.
And we're going to look and see if we can unlock his potential to find a better way for him to strike the ball, easier swing.
That was great. I haven't hit a draw with a driver in about 2 years.
Using the Easiest Swing philosophy. That's coming up right now. Today we're here at Golf Swing Systems and we're going to just have a little coaching session here with Alex, who tells me he's never had an official golf lesson from a golf pro before. So we're just going to talk a little bit about Easiest Swing and what is the difference between that and a lot of the other coaching methods out there. Okay. And the first is to explain it isn't a method. We're not looking to impose on you a particular way to swing the golf club that's kind of perhaps trying to emulate the tour players. More, we're actually looking to see what is your authentic swing, your natural swing that we could maybe uncover. Okay. So in the session, I'll want to ask you some questions and just have a look at your own golf swing and see if we can find some things that might actually just release a few things in you that allow you to swing the golf club in a more natural way to encourage your game. And just to explain, Alex is a +1 handicap golfer. So, you know, he knows how to play, he knows how to hit a golf ball. I haven't got to show him any of that kind of stuff. It's just a question of actually trying to find perhaps ways that he can improve his game through consistency, through better ball flight, through more control over the ball. Okay. So just hit a shot for me. Okay. Let's just have a shot of him hitting the ball, please, Pete.
That's about my standard shot.
Yeah, great shot, Alex. Yeah, that's nice. So if I was to ask you a few things about your own beliefs of the game and the swing and what you should be doing, tell me for a second what you think are the most important things that you need to do to be able to hit a golf ball. I mean, if you took a mate to the range and you said, right, I'm going to show you how to hit a golf ball, I'm going to give you the basics, what would you tell somebody?
I'd generally say if I was teaching someone who never hit a golf ball, trying to keep the face square as long as you can. So try to avoid this movement here, like rolling open. And then, because this is just very difficult to correct. And then generally the only thing I ever really tell them is just to commit to the shot. So whatever you try to do it with everything you've got. Don't try and sort of guide the golf ball. I hate that idea. So I would always tell people just swing through the ball. Generally is the biggest thing, is just release the club and let it hit the ball. Okay.
That's interesting. So, and this idea that you don't want the club to fan out, you want to try and keep it squarer. Where do you feel that that's come from? Where, is that something that somebody's told you, or is it something you just feel that's standard?
So I think if you took a PGA textbook and pointed it at my golf swing, it's saying everything's wrong. I tend to take the club away on the inside. I've been told it's a lot. I think it's not so bad. But yeah, I know I take the club away on the inside. And I have been told that's wrong, and I've tried to be sort of PGA touring my swing, so trying to get it coming sort of more up on plane, more picking the club up, and then sort of directing it down on the inside line. So yeah, it's I've definitely been told it and taught it, but it's never felt very natural to me. I try to do it, and 1 in 10 will be a beautiful sort of lovely shot, and then the other 9 are all over the place.
I would certainly agree with what you're saying there, which is that I think this is something that really came in the 90s, was this idea of trying to keep the club face a lot squarer for a lot longer in the takeaway. And it's become the kind of standard way that everybody's trying to play the game. Now, those tour players, they're so talented and so adaptable to anything that they can do that no problem at all. I think for a lot of golfers who are anything from your level right the way through to handicap golfers, that's quite an unnatural movement, and you're trying to basically force the golf club to do something it doesn't naturally want to do. Okay. And this is one of the keys with Easiest Swing, is that we want to try and respect the device in your hand and say, let it do what it wants to do, and then just manipulate yourself to that. So you kind of link yourself to the golf club to let it do what it wants to do and just work with it as best you can. By doing that, because it's no longer a kind of unnatural fixed thing, you're just free flowing, you're letting the golf club do what it wants to do, you should find something that's actually a lot more comfortable for
From a
you.
natural swing.
Much more natural swing, and perhaps more repeatable. Just try a few practice swings initially where just observe the club head and just feel what it wants to do naturally, and let it just swing in the way that you feel that the golf club is designed to swing, rather than anything that's manipulated. Yeah, so that would feel like a more natural swing to you. Yeah.
That kind of this move here.
Yeah.
Feels a lot more like that's where the club wants to go.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think this sort of movement here ever feels. It always feels like I'm almost clinging onto the golf club.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and I totally agree with you. That obviously, kind of in the 90s, I think everybody was doing this. You know, it started with Ledbetter showing Faldo, and everybody was doing the same movement. I did it too, and I think it just basically makes the game unnatural, awkward. As you say, it feels forced, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It doesn't feel like the golf club's just doing what it wants to do naturally.
Yeah.
So I would just encourage you now to hit a few shots and just say, okay, let that golf club do what it wants to do. Don't try and force it. Don't try and manipulate it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, a bit fadey in that. Is that something I'm going to expect, sort of feeling?
Yeah, I think
hit
you
a few
might.
weird shots and stuff.
I think you might just see that the golf ball behaves a little bit differently because it's kind of the club's just doing what it wants to do.
Feels like I'm swinging it faster.
Yeah, that's deliberately or just
No,
it's just happening.
Yeah. Oh, felt lovely.
And a couple of other questions for you.
Yeah. God, if I could hit that every day, I'd be all right.
A couple of other questions for you. So, what do you think about in terms of stillness in the golf swing, about perhaps your head movement or your feet movement? Any thoughts on that?
I tend to try and keep my head as still as possible. I know there's a lot of teaching that you can, especially with the driver, letting your head move behind the ball, and I don't like that. So background-wise, I come from an athletics background. Everything is taught that if your head stays still, everything else can move, and you can. Right. So, like if you watch the best sprinters in the world,
the head stays very still.
The head is just like it's locked in place, and that's always been what I've taught. So that feels more natural. In terms of weight shifting and things, I try to keep about 60% of my left all the way through. Just because if I tend to get stuck back here, I tend to stay back there. I don't really like sort of big transitions, unless I'm trying to hit it really far.
Left heel, try and keep that down on the ground. Is that?
Yeah. I don't naturally bring it up. I'd have to think about it to bring it up.
Yeah. Okay. So, just like you to experiment for a second with something that this is going to feel rather odd to you, because you've just told me that you like to stay very still. You want to keep most of your weight on your left side here, so you're looking to stay fairly static. So I'm going to encourage you to do what you
don't want to do,
which is to actually move.
Sure.
And I just put a caveat around that, because I think where athletics is right, obviously if your head is steady, the motor can move around the head effectively. But I think this is one of the big misconceptions in golf, is that people tend to think the head is the center of the golf swing. Therefore, if it stays still, you can move everything around that head. Yeah. But the difference in a golf swing, because of the swing plane, your head isn't the center of the golf swing.
No.
If you think of it for a second, the center of the golf swing is actually in here.
Yeah.
It's between your shoulder blades. It's actually in your spine. So if you imagine that being the center, and that everything's going to kind of rotate around that, then you have to allow a little bit of movement from side to side throughout the swing. It's just a natural move like that.
So let this sort of move.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a move we call La Danse de Golf, and the reason it's called La Danse de Golf because Brian worked in France for 14 years, and his students called it this. I'll just show you it. Basically, you just take the golf club like this.
Okay.
Just lightly in your hands like that. That's right. And just turn. I'll mirror you. Sorry.
Yeah.
So just turn that way and then that way. That's it.
Okay.
And just that way and that way. And let your weight shift from side to side.
You're supposed to let your left heel come up.
Yeah, that's it. You can feel the left heel wants to do that when you're doing that move, doesn't it? Yeah. So that's La Danse de Golf.
Okay.
And it's just basically there's a lot more movement in the feet than you were perhaps used to. And there's a little shift of weight from side to side because the head's moving a little bit from side to side.
Okay.
So I'd like you to just see if you can incorporate that feeling into your swing while that's it.
Okay. I'll try and hit one.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'd watch out there. You might be in shank territory. Okay, so
That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Oh, a bit low. Pretty straight though. Okay, I'll let this sort of move. Okay. Feels like I'm not sort of able to find the bottom of the swing.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit strange because you're used to it being very static, aren't you?
Yeah,
So,
I don't think I'm doing like the.
Yeah, that's it. Just feel it a few times. That's it.
I'm sort of just lifting my foot.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
Basically, the heel comes off the ground because of the turn, not the other way round.
Oh, nearly. Feels like maybe I think the thing I'm losing is I think as I'm doing it, I'm standing up, which is then meaning I'm thinning it.
I think that's a lot to do with the length of the shaft of the golf club as well, because these are standard length clubs, aren't they?
Yeah.
And so you're actually having to start from quite a low position. And as you're doing that turn, you're right, it is making you lift.
Okay.
Can we switch you to a longer club? And just see,
sure.
see
Try.
So I think you'll find that now you can just turn without having to feel that you're lifting because you're starting from this same position, basically.
How long are these? 2 inches up?
Yeah.
God, that seems like a lot, doesn't it? That felt like I had a bit of...
Yeah. Interestingly, I think if you were to work at this, because I observed this watching you hit shots earlier on, was that you kind of look very static.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to stay kind of really still when you're swinging.
Yeah.
And the heel was very, very firmly on the ground in the swing as well. Along with a manipulated kind of takeaway, it looks quite contrived. Probably pretty safe, but quite contrived. Now, what we're looking at here is a more natural movement and a freer movement, effectively, that is going to feel very unsafe to you to start with.
Yeah. I would say that's what it feels like. It feels like I'm having to find the golf ball.
Yeah.
I think what I'm maybe tending to do when I'm swinging is trying to make it so that my return point is the same as my start.
Yeah, that's it.
I suppose that also creates problems though. Like I'm not particularly explosive through the ball for the amount of speed I can make. So
yeah, exactly. And I think as a result, I think probably you have to hit the ball a little harder than you'd like to.
Yeah, I think so.
And if you were to adopt this, you would be able to actually hit the ball a little easier, a little softer, which might give you more control. So it kind of you kind of lose some control in one way, but you gain other control
by being able to.
Yeah. We often call that losing control to gain control.
Okay.
Yes.
Let the club do what it wants. Oh, that was buttoned. Bit of a push, but that was a better hit.
Good. Set yourself up to the ball again one more time. Just one little thing. Just start from a little bit more there. That's it. So the head's just a little bit more this way.
Yep.
Very often see in your backswing, as you're going back, is your head starts to move this way in the backswing, almost there, which is going to set you in front of the ball rather than behind it, effectively. So just tilting the head just to right, that's it, just a little bit there. That's right. And now just let yourself go. That looks good. Like that.
That was better.
Yeah. That looks really nice.
Okay, so head position could be.
Yeah, I think unfortunately
I shouldn't have worn glasses to if I know I was playing golf.
I think the sort of fixation on sort of staying still and keeping the left heel down has actually gradually meant that you ended up doing this effectively in your takeaway, especially with this, trying to do that. I think the whole thing has actually set you a little bit this way.
Okay.
Get yourself a bit more here behind the ball and free.
Here.
And I think we will see that looks really good. Wow.
That's starting to feel good.
That looks good. That looks so much freer.
It felt like I barely did anything.
Exactly.
Which is pretty cool. So
exactly. We often talk about a quote from a guy called Bill Melhorn. You've
Okay.
probably never heard of him, but he was in the 1920s. He was the leading US money winner for 3 years out of 10.
Okay.
And he had a quote which we love, which is, if you never interfere with the swinging of the club head, every ball will go straight.
Okay.
So if you think of that, so what you were trying to do before was trying to manipulate the club head.
Yeah.
If you let the club head swing,
Okay.
and you don't interfere with it, and that's quite hard to do because it's always tendency to want to do something with it. You just let it swing and just work with it, every ball will go straight.
Okay. Sounds good to me. Okay, so
That's it. That's great. Yeah. And now just nice and easy, relax, move into it. Yeah.
oh, that feels so good.
Yeah, that's so good now.
I'm going to touch left now, but that's okay. Big jump in ball speed, I've noticed.
174 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I feel. I feel you can unlock a lot more power in your game than was there before.
Okay. That's starting to feel good.
And quite nice to be letting the golf club do
It
what
doesn't
wants
feel like
to do.
it feels like I've got space, weirdly.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I feel like when I swing normally, I tend to feel a bit cramped.
Yeah, that's exactly how it looks. Yeah.
But it feels like I'm getting a lot more sort of
Yeah.
width. Like, is it width almost, or?
I
Not
think it's
quite, or-
connection. I think you're connecting the moving parts better.
It was really weird moving my head back, but
That looks really good.
delivering the club feels a lot easier. Oh, that is absolutely smacked.
That looks really sweet, actually. Massive difference.
A massive difference.
And yet it doesn't. Honestly, we'll show you the video in a second. If you looked at it and you didn't know the golfer, and you just watched them, you wouldn't say that person is moving too much, they're moving off the ball.
It feels like I'm going crazy.
heels-
It feels like I'm over here,
Yeah,
and then
it's why it'd be useful for you to see it. 'Cause
Yeah.
It just doesn't look anything like that. Looks really nice, really good.
my head position thing feels very, very good. Oh, a bit choppy, but that's okay. I mean, it's a good miss, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, what I'm noticing as well, so we're using obviously a Trackman IO, and on the club delivery camera, even the misses, I'm middling them. So that's a big difference to my normally I'd miss with a heel, sort of low heel that then just drops out of the air.
And the sense I get in that was your golf swing when I first watched it today was a sense of you look like there isn't space.
Yeah.
It looks like this is a bit awkward and I'm going to end up hitting the heel.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it looked. Now it actually looks like you're free and you can just let go through the ball.
It feels like
you're
I'm
going to hit the
swinging
centre of the club head.
a lot more naturally, to be honest,
Yeah.
actually.
Exactly what we're looking for, yeah.
Right. That was a chunk. Got out there fine.
Yeah.
That's got out there the same distance as my normal 7-irons.
And this is one of the things I think you'll find with this is that the beauty of this is that it's giving you a margin of error.
Yeah.
You can make a bit of a mistake doing this and you'll get away with
Yeah.
it. What you were doing before looked like it needed to be so precise
Yeah.
to get it right that a very slight mistake and you had
I
poor
think
shot.
that's probably, I'm quite a methodical golfer.
Yeah.
Like when I'm on the course especially, I'll follow a routine. I have to do everything perfectly. I struggle when I have in comps, if I hit fairways and greens, if I hit fairways, I'm good. But if I end up on weird lies and above my feet, below my feet, if I have to change anything, I'm in some trouble.
Really,
I
because you haven't
struggle.
quite got that adaptability with that
I have
method.
no adaptability.
And I think this is what this would give you. I think it would give you a lot more freedom. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feels like that would have left the face open, but it does feel like a better strike. Oh, yeah. It's weird. It's like even though those pushed ones, they feel better than the ones that I would normally think were good shots. That's actually a bad shot there. but it feels like I'm striking it much nicer. Like it's coming out the middle of the club.
Okay, just relax and go with it now. Yeah, nice swing.
It's just a little bit pushy, but it's okay. I wouldn't be mad with that, in the sense that it still feels like I'm releasing it quite nicely.
Mm-hmm. Strike sounds better. That's the thing, and it looks like you've got space and you've got time, which are the things that I didn't feel before.
That's better. There you go. Take a bit of time over it.
That's it. Yeah, it's just tendency, because it feels a little bit strange.
It's different. You're like rushing through it.
You rush at it a bit, and then it doesn't work, as you know. Yeah. But the nice thing is that even when you do that, the bad shot's not going to kill you, is it?
It's not going to kill me, no, and it's predictable. They're all starting right and coming back.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's just not coming back enough when I push it out there.
And it's just a question of, as you say, it's a question of getting used to that, getting the timing of it, getting the rhythm to it, so that it feels nice and easy. Because the bad ones all just look a little bit sort of hasty and a bit kind of rushed, you know.
I've noticed as well, it's a more neutral. So the blue line on that screen there is the club path, effectively. It's the way I've delivered the club.
Yeah.
That's a lot more neutral than normal. I'm normally about 4 degrees inside.
Yeah.
And it's not a number on the screen, but it's probably about 0.5. There's a much more neutral golf swing, which is nice.
Good.
So. And the ones that are going out right are the same swing.
Yeah.
Just leaving the face open.
Just the club faces. Yeah, exactly.
Bit heavy, but still pretty good. Yeah.
So interesting.
Very interesting.
And from where we started, you know, you said right back at the beginning, I don't like to move. I don't want to move off it. I don't want to let my left heel go.
Yeah.
I've just got you to do all of those things.
Yeah.
Really kind of taking you out of your comfort zone. But what do you feel then? How do you feel that you could cope with that on a golf course?
I think it would change the way I look at holes, I think, because I feel like I'm not hitting as, like I normally hit like probably a 5 or 10 yard draw every shot. It doesn't feel like I'm having to hit. I feel like actually if I wanted to, I could probably hit fades with this quite easily.
Yeah.
I think I could cope with it. It doesn't feel like I'm rooted to the ground anymore. Like it feels like I can sort of just hit it.
Yeah.
I think it would take a little while to get used to. I won't lie. Like I don't want to lie. So I would say that if I were to get used to it, I'd need a few weeks of like sort of just learning to trust that I will come back to the golf ball.
Yeah.
The head position thing feels very good.
I was going to say, I think the head position really is quite at the core of the issue, because I think the head position going this way was part of this movement that you were working on here.
Yes,
I think it was part of that, aligned to trying to stay very static. And I think setting your head here sends a whole load of messages to your brain and your body saying, I'm moving in a different way. I'm going to take this in a different path. The club's going to go in a different path. Let it go. Don't fight it anymore. And I think that will actually release something in you that will be very different for you, because you will feel a much more natural golfer, which means that when the lies are uneven and you're playing out of different types of texture of grass and stuff like this, that you've got a confidence there to actually play a natural shot.
Just play the same shot,
Exactly. You can manipulate it to do whatever you want. And that, I think, was the problem, that you were stuck within very tight parameters.
Yeah.
Which was fine if you have a perfect lie on a flat surface.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. As we do
in here, it's good.
All day, every day. Yeah. But as soon as things start to change, then the adaptability in your golf swing wasn't there, because the parameters were so tight.
Yeah.
So what this has done, I think, is widen the parameters. It allows you to move more freely, more naturally, and let the golf club go where it wants to go, and just let it find its way back to the golf ball.
Yeah.
So I think you'll have some fun with that.
I think so. Yeah. I think also longer clubs seem to help a lot as well.
Yeah. And you said right at the beginning with the other clubs that you felt like you were lifting in the backswing. It's quite a common thing that we see with tall people, is this sense to lift in the backswing. It's very often because the club's too short in the first place.
And that's why maybe I became so used to sort of trying to stay
on
my left,
because then you can stay down.
Because then I can stay down. I have nowhere to go, whereas this sort of feels more like I've kind of got
that's great.
A lot more of a rotational feel. And to be honest, it feels like I could hit it a lot further. I'm still kind of coaxing it. And
I feel that. It'd be interesting to hit some drivers in a moment, but I think I would say there's another 30 yards in your game.
Oh, well, that'll be interesting. Some people say I hit it too far anyway, but no, I'd quite like to hit a couple more 7-irons if that's okay as well, just to sort of try and feel a good one to finish.
Yeah, yeah, good.
Or one. Yeah, that feels so good. Like the strike feels so good. I love it. Like, it's coming down very high. I think maybe these clubs would need to get fit for the proper clubs, but it's I'll try and bring one lower just to feel it. There you go.
Nice shot.
Yeah, we can finish on that one.
Yeah. I seriously, what I'd do is I'd go into there must be decent club fitters around.
Yeah, we built half.
Just put half an inch on, say, your 6-iron or 7-iron or something like that.
Just
try
see how it feels.
See how it feels, and if it's good, just have your whole set done half an inch longer.
Yeah, a big jump in ball speed as well.
Yeah,
big jump in ball speed.
Let's see you hit a driver.
Okay. Yeah, the driver works. That was great. I haven't hit a draw with a driver in about 2 years.
That looks very different.
That was cool. I didn't even hit that good. That was cool. I often feel like I get stuck with the driver. Like I sort of, when I'm hitting driver well, I hit it very well.
Yeah.
But that wasn't a good shot in the sense that I know I didn't really
you can catch it
hit
right
it.
out the middle.
And that's still gone. I mean, just under 300, which is fine.
Yeah.
But it's a nice shot shape too. Maybe a bit too drawy for a pro. You probably tell me that's a bit too drawy.
I don't mind that.
That's a bit poppy. Yeah. It's a good miss.
Interesting, isn't it?
It's a good miss.
You said you haven't hit a draw for 2 years. You said now you've hit 2 draws back to back.
Yeah, I mean it's very different because I've been told a lot in the last few years that I need to avoid a lot of the things you're telling me to do. Like
that's because there's a lot of people out there saying the same thing, and you have to question: is it right, or is it they just all saying the same thing? Yeah. Why are they saying that? Because for 100 years they didn't say this stuff. So
yeah, feels like weirdly, it feels like I'm wanting to stand further away from the ball. That was smacked.
Let's see how far that goes.
It's not actually gone that far. It's a bit spinny, but it's that shot shape is much better.
There's a consistency there, isn't there? That's pretty tight.
Love the driver. It's nice. Yeah, I mean the zone. Yeah, is what 5-10 yards.
Yeah.
It's the head position that feels it. As soon as when you were trying to get me to shift off it with the head position here, it felt like I was doing this.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it looked. Yeah.
As soon as I got here, it felt like I could sort of.
Yeah, you could be behind it, and now you're behind it. You think if you were trying to hit something that way, do you want to be behind it here, or do you want to be on top of it?
Yeah. Yeah, I try and hit one a bit harder because I think I'm sort of holding back on it. Actually, it was a terrible strike, but it's. I mean, if that's a bad shot with this swing, very low heely. That's my normal miss. That's how you can tell as well. The tee is still there. Okay. So when I'm moving my head, am I also moving my weight or no?
Yeah, there will be a little shift of weight onto your right side. Yeah, because you were predominantly on your left before, so yeah.
That was I scooped it.
Hooky one.
That was better. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
I haven't hit a draw in a long time.
Oh, that's getting out there now, isn't it? over the 280 carry. Yeah, that's good.
Still spinning at 3,200 revs as well.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'd have a lot more with my shaft and stuff. And
interesting.
Yeah.
It looks very different.
Good.
It looks
feels
very
different. Feels really different, does it?
It looks like, you know, from here,
Yeah.
you really can move into the golf ball freely.
Yeah.
Before it looked tight and a bit awkward and lacking space. You always looked like you were lacking space coming into the ball.
That was definitely
now
the way it
you
felt.
look like you're free.
Yeah.
So
what is it changing the way I'm taking the club away at all?
Yeah.
Like,
yes, it is going more inside, as you said before, and there'd be lots of people who tell you not to do that. But to me, that looks natural to you.
it feels much more like I'm just able to hit a golf shot.
Yeah. So you're not trying to manipulate the club and make it do things that are unnatural to you.
Yeah, I would say that's how it feels.
Yeah.
And it's definitely interesting. It feels like I'm just, when I get to, like normally when I get to about here, I'm thinking turn just to get the club back.
Yeah.
Whereas this, it just feels like I'm just hitting it.
Yeah.
I'm just hitting the golf ball. And it's probably not quite as long, but that could be down to the club or
Could be the club, yeah.
anything. Like,
But I think that the key then is once you're doing that is connecting that club head to your body movements, and your body movements are much more natural looking.
yeah.
So just get the club head working in time with you, and it should be really
It does,
easy.
it does feel I'm still a little bit out of sync, but that's going to that'll be for me, to be honest. I know the general easiest swing thing is people get better quickly, and I am seeing a better ball flight there for sure.
Yeah.
But it usually takes me a good few weeks to bed in a change.
Of course, yeah.
So-
yeah. To get to trust it and get used to it. Yeah, of course. Got a feeling that's going to be quite long.
Same thing, 280 carry, but it's the spin. It's lots of spin. So it's yeah. I mean, it's you can't argue with it, can you?
Enjoying that?
Yeah, I love it. I've got no changes to say. I mean, I'm hitting a draw with a driver, which I don't ever do,
Yeah.
and it's a draw that I feel I can make bigger and smaller at will.
Yeah.
So it's yeah,
So-
I think
so
there's
you
potential there. I'd be interested to see trying to hit some shot shapes with irons.
Yeah.
Would be interesting to see if that feels like I can actually do that. Because
That would be interesting, actually. Yeah, because yes, I feel that you will be in more control of the club. Again, you know, it's a weird kind of thing, but you were trying to control the club before and make it do things that are unnatural.
just need to let it do it.
It now looks, because you're letting the club do what it naturally wants to do for you, that you've got more control of it. It's a very
it feels.
strange
I feel
kind
like I'm hitting the ball out the middle a lot more.
Yeah.
Like I was tending to hit probably straighter shots because I've learned a bad swing effectively, or learned a controlled swing. I feel like I was probably hitting the ball a touch straighter, but the strike is so much better with this. I'm hitting it out the middle, so the start point is a lot better.
Yes.
So I think I could make it a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I try hitting some shot shapes and see how I feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's the shot shape that feels natural. Let's see what it feels like to hit a fade. Oh my God, I hit a fade. Kind of just straight, but it was a fade that wasn't a slice is a very big thing for me.
Yeah.
Try and hit a low one. Yeah. It does. It feels like I can just swing the club and it does what I want it to do. Little lower draw.
That should be fun, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Let's see if we can. Yeah, it feels really weird now.
Yeah.
Just seems like I'm pushing them all, but I think I might actually be aiming out there as well. Be interested to see where if we had some way of doing that, the drill you were saying about where I'm aiming, where it feels straight.
We can.
I think because I've done so many I've been hitting a draw for so long.
We can.
I think the straight line is out there.
So let's do it. We'll use this. So set yourself up to the ball.
Yep.
tell me where you think is straight.
No, even further right than that would feel.
This way?
About there.
About there.
That's where it feels like I'm looking at. That's where I feel like I'm hitting.
Okay.
Yeah, it feels like I want to hit it out there.
Go and have a look.
Yeah, it's a good 2 degrees offline, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah. So just go back
I'd
there.
be interested to see what my launch degrees were. I bet you it would match up to that quite well.
Yeah. So tell me where straight is. I presume it is there. Is
It's
it?
there, yeah.
Okay. Now go back. Now go back to the ball.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the shot, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
So I just need to adjust my aim a little bit.
Exactly.
And the draw's actually getting lower, like smaller as I aim straighter.
And as you adjust that aim, of course, it's going to affect very slightly the path and so on. So
yeah, it's fantastic. That was the best strike I've had all day as well. 127 with a 7-iron's mad for me.
Yeah.
I normally top out at 121, 122. And that's like an absolutely buttoned, dead straight 7-iron would be 122.
Really? So another
127,
5 miles an hour.
5.5 miles an hour, yeah.
Club head speed. That's
not even club head, ball speed.
Ball
so
speed,
club head's probably the same, just it's coming out the middle of the club more.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well done.
Yeah, fair enough.
Thanks very much.
Point made. Fine, I'm off.
Where's the golf course?
Yeah, no, it's very good. I'm very impressed. Yeah.
Cheers, Alex.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going to take that to the range now.
Good morning, Alex.
Morning. How are you?
Great, thanks very much. How are you?
Yeah, not so bad. It's earlier than I would like, but the work day has started, so we've got to get going.
Off with some gusto. Alex, can you tell me just a little bit about how things have gone since the lesson we had?
Yeah, it's all been going well. I'm back into playing more regularly, so I don't know if we said it on camera, but during the time when we had the lesson, I was playing pretty infrequently, just weather and family commitments and stuff like that. So I wasn't too in the groove of everything, but since the lesson, it kind of I've been practicing a lot more. So yeah, the golf has been volatile because it's a new swing. There's obviously rounds where it works and rounds where it doesn't, but generally good. There's been improvements. So yeah.
Okay, and if you think about your sort of normal stats, any changes to your stats?
Yeah, so I use strokes gained quite a lot. So I sort of use it to track, how I've performed per round, and I'm about half a stroke better on everything outside of 100 yards.
Okay.
And I was thinking about that, and my wedges tend to be the first thing that go when I don't practice, and the last thing to come back when I do. So it's nothing to do with the swing so much, the wedges being a little bit down. It's things like my distance control, my decision making, like it's things that come from time on the course.
Okay, and I think explain to anybody watching this that we recorded this just about 3-4 weeks before Christmas and Christmas break, and this is now just straight into the new year now. So it's wintertime golf for us here in the UK.
Yeah.
And,
very wintertime at the moment.
Yeah, but and have you had any good rounds? Anything notable?
Yeah, I've had good and bad. So the bad, I've had 7 and 8 overs that have happened where I've just got nothing going. But I've also had 4 and 5 unders. I had my low round of the year actually the week after we had our lesson. So I think it was 5 under, 5 under, 4 under or something, and it was a very, very good sort of hitting the green lots more than that. So if I'd putted even half decently that day, it would have been a very, very low round. So that was it. There are good signs there. It definitely feels like I'm playing more comfortably. Like I'm not thinking about shots as much. I'm just hitting shots, which is a nice feeling.
That's really what I was going to ask you is if you've adopted the really sort of the 3 things we talked about, which was the head position, about actually getting some weight shift onto the back foot and allowing the club to go on its own sort of track. This is feeling more comfortable to you now, is it?
Yeah, I'd say 2 out of 3 for sure. So the head position for sure. Switching that made quite a big difference right away, especially to my driver. My driver before was a club I had a very love-hate relationship. I was either very on or very off with it. And my miss was quite a big peely fade out to the right. Nowadays the miss is like sort of just lower than normal. The shot is 2 or 3 yard draw, and it's not really changing, which is a really, really nice thing. And then Yeah, I mean, so the head position stayed. Shifting onto the back foot, I've probably reduced a little bit from what we did in the lesson, but I think that's just because I'm able to turn a bit freer with the new head position, so I don't have to rotate more onto the back foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then letting the club go where it wants to go. Now I'm able to turn properly. I think that head position's unlocked a lot in what I can do, and so that being able to turn properly has meant I'm picking the club up a bit more in a bit more of a normal plane. I'm still definitely inside compared to what the golf nerds will tell me. They'll dissect it in the comments and say you still swing inside. Get a life. But
Yeah.
so yeah, it's better than it was. And yeah, so it's in terms of the scores though, the scores reflected an improvement. It does feel more like a golf swing rather than like a calculation. Like it doesn't feel like I have to sort of,
Positions.
because every time I swing before, I was having to rehearse positions in the swing and working out where I was going to go. This does feel like I can just walk up and hit a 7-iron and it will go roughly where my 7-iron should go.
Yeah.
So it's a nice feeling. It is definitely more of a natural swing.
Well, that's great news, Alex. Nice to hear that things are going in the right direction for you and that you're enjoying it. It's fun and it feels more natural. It's not contrived. Would tend to indicate that that's going to be more sustainable, isn't it?
It would tend to, and I would also say playing 2 rounds in a weekend before, with the positions I was getting into, was difficult on my back, and I'm maybe not old enough to be saying that I should have a sore back after 2 rounds of golf. I should be able to play that quite easily. And now I'm very comfortable playing 2 or 3 rounds in a weekend, which is a much better thing. I think it's to do with just having a bit better turn, a bit more efficient. So it's definitely it's got more longevity to it.
Excellent. Yeah, it'll be less strain on your body, that's for sure. Yeah,
Exactly.
which is pretty important because you want that to keep going for the next, at your age,
It is.
you want another 40, 50 years of this.
Ideally, and I mean, currently my body is made of glass, so anything I can do to keep it safe is good.
Okay, excellent. Alex, thanks very much for that. It's nice to hear that update, and good luck with it. Hope your game continues to improve, and we'll speak again soon.
Yeah, when the weather improves, we'll have to get on a golf course.
That would be a really nice idea.
Yeah, golf swing systems versus easiest swing. I can see it. There's a title right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hopefully you've enjoyed that video. Just watching Alex as a +1 golfer, just making a few minor changes, really just challenging some of the things that he believed he had to do. And why did he believe those things? Specifically because that's what he's been told to do. That's what the golf industry is telling us, that we have to swing that way. And actually some of these things are not quite right. We've allowed him to swing in a more natural way, more his authentic swing coming out. And as he's finding it, he's starting to improve his ball striking, and it's going to be more adaptable for him. So if you're new to Easiest Swing, please go to our website, easiestswing.com, and download your free copy of the ebook that we have on there. It's a condensed version of the main book, The Positive Impact Golf. It will really help your game.